Hello, once again. Good health to you. And today I'll be discussing my favorite phone case that I've been using, and it's also the healthiest, which that will probably confuse some people. They may wonder why a phone case could be healthy or how that could be. But if you haven't learned that, we'll get into that a little bit in terms of radiation emissions and how that affects your body and which phone cases protect against that, because many of them do not. But this one definitely does. The RFSafe phone case, and I've been using it for years. This one's a little bit worn out. As you can see, the inside it's got some. It usually looks like this to start, brand new, but this is after years of use. It's kind of peeled away. So, but I've actually left it this way before I replace this one, and I may not even replace it. I may actually just peel the rest of the this rubber protective coating off and leave it like that because it still works, as you can see. So I can show you at least this way. It has a fine metal mesh underneath, which is where the protection comes from. This fine metal mesh is actually how it protects your body from the radiation phones emit. And if you're not familiar with that, well, you should be doing more homework because that is actually where some health issues come from. Um, there are several celebrities, famous people who have been paid to keep quiet about having brain tumors removed due to phone use. One of them being LeBron James, actually, shortly after he had I think it's called a glioblastoma, something like that, removed from his head. He was paid by Samsung to become their spokesperson, from what I understand. So they buy a lot of silence. Not just them, and I actually use a Samsung phone, which is actually what some would consider a downside to this line of phone cases, the RFSafe, is that they really only make cases for Samsung and Apple phones. But you can use them in any other case as long as it fits. As you can see, they sell them in just sheets as well. I've used this one on one side already. So you can insert these into any phone case you have as well. They're very thin. Some cheaper phone cases, it may break them because there's more space being taken up other than just the phone. But that's what I've done in this. I've actually inserted another one of these layers behind this phone. I've cut out this camera part and inserted it underneath the phone. So now I have two protective layers. I first learned about this years ago. I believe it was a documentary called Resonance, where it showed in a spectrometer these things that the human eye can't see, but it showed this swirling field of light around an activated cell phone. And just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not there. So that is actually going on all the time your phone is on. It is sending and receiving information and energy. And this radiant field that surrounds it affects the body. I've also seen in many other documentaries and presentations that actually one way some women have gotten breast cancer is by keeping their phone in their bra. And one particular case I saw, the tumors in her breast were the exact shape of her cell phone. It was in a rectangular configuration on her breast. So there are other ways of getting it as well, but this is a real health concern and a real health threat. So if you just have a normal everyday case, it may not be protecting you. In fact, a lot of them don't. Again, what sold me on this particular kind of case, this brand, was that I saw a video comparing this versus another one. Someone had a microwave, what's it called, a tri-field meter. Someone had a tri-field meter to detect radiant energy from one phone case and then this one. And they measured it when the case was open and they were getting a strong reading, and then they closed the case and was still measuring it, and the reading dropped to 0. So this definitely works, but a lot of others don't. They do not have this metal mesh protective layer, which is like a Faraday cage, but it basically can trap and contain the radiation spectrum It still can get in from the top and the bottom and the side, supposedly, but it strongly reduces the amount of radiation frequency that is being emitted from the phone and that is affecting your body. And again, this mesh is thin enough where you can still, if you close the case, you can still have a conversation. However, I never even hold the phone up to my head anymore. I always use speakerphone. And again, this still works with that too. Whether or not you use it this way, which this case makes it safer to do that, but I still avoid that risk too. I don't want this, affecting my brain, skull, eyes, tissue, all that, good stuff that we need up here. That another interesting point is that a lot of insurance companies do not protect against things like telecommunications radiation from phones and towers and all that, because some people know that they're dangerous. But they also, again, spend a lot of effort, time, money to convince people that it's totally safe. Falsifying scientific studies and manipulating reports and people, buying them off, bribing them or silencing them one way or another, because it's a huge industry, obviously, billions and billions of dollars every year. And so this is one of those conspiracies, I guess you'd call it. That word has a lot of negative connotation. Depending on how you define it, everything is a conspiracy, or people with agendas working together, for common goals. And there are some that are more positive, some that are more negative. It all depends on your perspective. But it's big business, and that shouldn't surprise people that some will sacrifice things in order for personal gain. So they offer them specifically for Samsung and Apple models, but again, you can use these for other cases. Many phones are very similar in their size and dimension. So these cases no doubt will fit other phones. However, if you don't want to risk that, then again, I would recommend buying these separately, and you can stick them in your own case to protect that way. They do offer two different types of these on the RFSafe website, which I will link below. One is this the regular, they're the older model, which I've been using. They have a newer version with graphene in it. Graphene's a pretty fairly new material, but very useful, very interesting and beneficial properties. And it's a little bit more expensive though. So the regular case like this will cost you $40. The graphene case is $70, I believe, as of this recording. So again, but this original model is the one that I've been using and the one that I saw tested in a video. And so I've been using that. It's a little bit cheaper and it works for me. And again, if you want an added layer of protection, I have inserted one in both sides of this case. So there's one on the front and the back. The standard ones you buy, there is really only just one on the front. So I've kind of modified this and made it my own. And again, you may notice some wear and tear on this case. Just, FYI, this thing has been with me for years. I have used this case. It's got to be at least 3 or 4 years now. And the color wasn't my first choice. They've got varied colors that you can choose from. The first one I had was black. This is an older phone. They stopped making them after a certain point for the older phones. They just make them for new ones. So the only color they had left that I liked was this. But again, this thing has been with me over multiple continents for years. So if you take all that into consideration, it's actually in great shape still. However, yeah, you can see there is some peeling and wear and tear. And again, on the inside as well, which I'm probably just going to peel this rubber guarding off, but I wanted to show what it kind of looks like after years of use. But again, if it's $40 over, it'll last you a couple years, depending on how well you take care of it. Some people don't take very good care of their things. So there may be other cases out there that do similar things. However, you really have to do your homework, because some of them may present themselves as, radiation protection, but they don't really do as good a job as you may think, or that they even may think. So this is really key, this fine, thin metal mesh underneath that that protects you from the radiant energy that your phone is constantly emitting. As a side note, unrelated to the case, I also always turn my phone off when I sleep. Some people sleep next to their phones, use it as an alarm clock, or whatever. I don't do that because I don't want to be constantly bombarded by the ambient radiant energy that these things are always emitting when they're on. But just so you know, a lot of cell phone cases do not protect you like these do. So while it may be more expensive than some people are used to paying, in this case you get what you pay for, which is not always true. There are always exceptions, but in this case, pun intended, since we're talking about cases, in this case it is true. You spend a little more and you get a much better quality product that actually has health benefits that many people aren't even aware of. And it also, obviously, aside from protecting you from the phone, it is protecting the phone from dropping and scratches. Although for more scratches, you'll have to get a screen protector as well. But that doesn't really protect you from radiation. At least none that I've seen yet. There could be some with some super materials out there that are clear and hard and can actually protect from the radiation. But I haven't found that yet. But again, as long as you have this closed, it'll be doing its job just fine. As always, please like and subscribe so I can continue sharing the best information and products that I've found so far with you. These have been benefiting me, and my intention is for them to benefit you as well, as many people as possible. So, take care, be well, infinite love and light. Until next time, thank you.